It's time to learn the fate of Pit Viper, the dune buggy from the first game that disappeared forever because it turned into our next contestant, Grasshopper. This is confirmed by Pit Viper's Acid Special, still having an animation in the game files tied to Grasshopper. This technically new vehicle is driven by Krista Sparks. She recently found out that the father she thought was dead isn't, so she wants to meet him and kill him. Few people have ever been so determined to be an orphan, but that's her wish, and she's driving a terrible vehicle to make it happen. If you notice her stats, she's not particularly good at anything, and her special is ridiculous. But at least we're heading to a excellent level, Paris. I thought when I started playing this game that I didn't remember most of it. Turns out I only had completely blanked out the first two levels, which are kind of boring. The rest of this game I remembered really well. And Paris especially. This is maybe the most famous level to come out of Twisted Metal 2. Maybe the entire series. A big part of that is how you can destroy the environment. We've already taken out the Thinker. Now we're heading into the Louvre, where we find a whole bunch of pieces of art. Didn't really recognize that one. Here's the Venus de Milo. We're gonna get a real good look at it because someone froze me and then drove away. Now it's gone. We got the Mona Lisa, of course. She ain't smiling no more. I like to get into the Louvre as fast as possible because the AI vehicles also like to get in here, and they'll destroy everything before you can. So it's my first stop most of the time. But also, the enemies love to pile up in there, and it's very small. So you gotta make an escape sometimes. May have noticed that there was a code starting to appear behind the Mona Lisa. We'll head back to check that out later. Meanwhile, I'm gonna stop off on the rooftops. We're the only one who can get up here because the AI doesn't have the dexterity to pull off the tricks required, which is just a matter of angling yourself properly and boosting. But we're the only one who can do that, so all the weapons up here are ours, a couple of health refills, and a nice chance to take a breather and take in the sights. There is the Eiffel Tower, of course. Won't be there much longer, because it is the intended way to get up to the rooftops. And even the background looks decent. They poured their heart into this one, and it shows. So let's do it no further injustice by hiding on the rooftops. Start using the special we built up. There it is, Grasshopper literally leaps up like a grasshopper and dive bombs opponents. 3 of the 4 uses we just saw counted as hits on Mr. Slam. Brought him from about half health to ultimately death. That was the special that took him out. As you saw, it is a weird one. Very hard to get used to. When you use it, if your card doesn't start flashing red, that means it didn't work. Your weapon is misfired and it won't hit anybody. Sometimes, even if you have a target and you start flashing red, you will only jump directly up and then just drop right down. No chance of hitting anybody. Sometimes you'll boost off so fast that you fly past all the enemies and hit nobody as well. And sometimes it has really amazing tracking. Will send you directly at enemies halfway across the level or lets you spin around in midair in order to hit your target. In all of those situations, your car will take damage from using the special. So, usually when I'm about to use the special, I use the invincibility first to mitigate any damage that I would take. Because sometimes you'll take more damage than your opponent. Grasshopper has low armor, and it's a poor choice for this kind of wrecking ball attack. I think she's supposed to be immune from the damage that it would inflict on her, but that rarely works out, as do most things with this special. Now I got Spectre in my sights. Want to take it out as quickly as possible. First of all, because it's easy, it's got low armor, and also because it's been overusing its special attack, which is a missile that homes you tenaciously and goes through walls. There it is, going on its ridiculous zigzag pattern. I think they added a tracer just to show off how it loops around and will follow you everywhere. Had to make a pit stop at the Louvre for some health, and Spectre got away because it's fast. So, finish off the rest of the paintings. There was Van Gogh's self-portrait and a pot of flowers I didn't really recognize. Probably a Monet, but I don't know. These videos are about the destruction of art, not its creation. And the code behind the destroyed Mona Lisa was up, down, L1, R1, which when entered at the proper screen of the game, unlocks nothing. It is completely useless everywhere in the entire game. But if you switch the first two inputs to down, up, L1, R1, you will unlock the Suburbia level from the first game for use exclusively in multiplayer. It is believed that whoever entered that code there simply typed it incorrectly on accident, which has led to many years of people whose uncles work at Nintendo making up false claims about what that code could unlock. So we're at something of a turning point for this run, mostly because I'm in such a weak vehicle, but I've done well enough that it is possible to win. Nonetheless, with 4 enemies remaining, I could take my remaining 2 deaths instantaneously. They could just hit and run me faster than I could hope to deal with, or whittle me away with Spectre specials and whatnot. All the health refills have been collected and will probably take a long time to respawn, minus that one above the fountains, so they can't really be relied upon. And I mentioned that if you kill 10 civilians, you get a health refill. What I didn't realize when I said that is that it's a joke. It is impossible to kill 10 civilians. You would have to run around the streets, grinding every civilian you saw for like 5 solid minutes. Not reliable at all. I will probably never do it in this LP. But Shadow died in the crossfire, and I picked up the remote bomb that is right outside of the Eiffel Tower. Now I'm going to put it inside the Eiffel Tower, wait for Thumper to show up, and set it off. That's the moment we've all been waiting for. And one of the defining moments of the entire PlayStation console, that they put Twisted Metal 1 instead of this game on the PlayStation Classic, really gives away the game. They didn't want you to enjoy that console, they wanted you to buy more PlayStation games by reminding you that good ones existed. Now, during the chaos of that collapse, I incurred another death. Along the way, took out Warthog finally. And I opened up the correct route of access to the rooftops for myself and for the enemies, who are now going to go up there and make my life hell by turtling in hard-to-reach places, stealing all my necessary pickups that they don't need. But they are low armor and near death. I'm in pretty good shape, but I can't count them out yet. Thumper's flamethrower special could take me out from full, as it has in the past. Collision on this bridge is pretty terrible. If you so much as touch the edge, you'll probably get stuck in a state where you can neither climb back up nor fall off for a couple of seconds. In fact, it's entirely to my benefit to not take down the Eiffel Tower, but what kind of let's play would it be if I didn't do that? Oh, and the fountains in front of the Eiffel Tower, they will lift your car up, which is a really cool effect. You can use it to get the pickups at the top, but you're a sitting duck while you do that, so I didn't. Finally killed Spectre, my earliest target, who survived until the end. And while I'm being overly cautious trying to take out the final enemy, let's talk about the music a bit. It's a metal remix of Frere Jacques, and it kinda sucks. It's the one way I think that Twisted Metal 1 is superior to its successor. The music is much better in the first game. Same composers, they were just clearly instructed to make the music a joke this time. Last time there were a lot of cool, moody pieces and ambient versions of all the tracks that would play if you were too far away from all the enemies. None of that here. But the music's over now, as is the level. That means it's wish time.
It's me, Krista! I'm back!
Krista, I thought you had died. I thought, in the car crash that almost killed me, you're alive! Property of the LAPD?
I'm sorry, Father. They rebuilt me after the accident. They knew I could get close enough to you. They want to put a stop to all the violence you caused with your contest. Hold me, Daddy. I'm just a machine now, but I'm scared the explosion will hurt.
Now you know why I bothered to play through a level as Grasshopper. To introduce you all to Krista Sparks. She was once Calypso's daughter. Now she's a RoboCop, programmed to kill him and cry while doing it. I also left in the ending text where you are thanked by the LAPD for a job well done. That's obviously unique to Krista's story and kind of funny because the LAPD was one of the most hated organizations in the country in the mid-90s. Getting thanked by them is a bit of a slap in the face. Now there will be no follow-up to this story in the next game because Calypso died, but Krista is a very important character nonetheless, and it's important to see as much of her as we possibly can. Less important is the other story I'm going to direct your attention to, that of Hammerhead. It's now driven by Mike and Stu. Friendship ended with Dave, I guess. In the first game, they wish for either tires or babes. Unfortunately, this game follows up on the latter wish. They want to be able to fly so that they can creep on women from a safe distance. So you can check out that ending now, and I can't blame you if you don't.